It's that time again for EverQuest Next Into the Portal. Your hosts for this evening are Geekdomo, Trendane, and Tobran. All right. I know, I had to re-render that whole thing all the way over again, so I apologize. Sorry. So, yes, we have no Locke and no Zaphos tonight. Both of them are having plastic surgery.
Yes.
And so they will not.
It's a very delicate issue.
Very delicate, and they don't really want to talk about it. Something to do with gynecomastia and a wart. So. All right. So anyway, welcome to the show. This is EverQuest Next Into the Portal and EverQuest Next Discussion.
Yay.
Trendane always puts the lip balm on.
It's always. National Coming Out Day. I had to.
Yes, today is National Coming Out Day, so let your freak flag fly.
You don't
freak
want
flag?
Me to do that.
Really?
Oh my God, you don't want me to do that.
I told you, Trendane, I wanted you dressed like Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
And I told you I'm too fat to fit in that dress anymore. I mean, ever.
Absolutely. I would pay to see that.
I would too.
So, Trendane, you're returning again as a guest again. But if you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself and your channel, and then we'll move over to Mr. Tobran.
Well, as you might have guessed already, the name is Trendane, and it's pretty much Trendane everywhere you go. You go to Twitter, you go to YouTube, you go to, well, we won't talk about that website, but it's pretty much the same all across the board. Amazingly enough, not on SOE. I don't know why they wouldn't let me.
I'm not Geekdomo either over there.
Yeah. But as for what I do, I used to work at a very hated major gaming company.
Its initials wouldn't happen to be E and A.
Let's say it's yes, actually. But I didn't work on any games this last time around. I worked on the equally hated Origin, and
I hate that game. I hate that thing.
It's not a game. Yeah,
I know it is a game because you try to figure out how to get it off your computer as quick as possible.
And yeah, it just kind of wormwood. It just digs its way in. But now I'm kind of a sort of partially, but not really quite out of work, voice actor. So I'm digging through the detritus or however you say it.
Detritus.
The minutiae of the internet, trying to find voice acting gigs for myself to do that will actually
pay.
Yes, that would be the one.
We'll get you working at EA, or not EA. Oh, I just said it.
I will kill you.
We'll get you working over at the SOE.
Stab you with a spoon.
Best weapon ever, spoon.
Yes, exactly. It hurts more. That's why.
Yeah.
All right.
It's down, you twit. So, Tobran.
Go ahead, Tobran. Tell us about yourself.
Okay, my name is Tobran. I've been running a YouTube channel for about a year now. Not the most popular channel, but hey, still a channel. That's what's fun. Been doing Guilders 2 for like the past year. Now moving on to EverQuest because it's much more awesome. Mm-hmm. Simply put. Simple as that. I think
Very
that's
excited.
My whole life in a
where
nutshell.
are you?
Yeah, where you live?
I live in the UK and it's like 2 a.m. here.
Yeah, we have to have a British person every show. It's required.
Right.
Where are you from? Where are you from in the UK?
Scotland.
Oh,
Edinburgh specifically.
Very nice.
Probably nice and warm there right now.
Exactly, lovely.
Yes, warm. That's a word for it, I suppose.
As compared to Pluto,
Yeah.
Awesome. And I am your host, Mr. Geekdomo, which you probably all know too much by now. And I got a new mic. See? And it only works if I talk this way into it. If I turn my head, you guys probably can't hear me at all. Yeah. I don't know who I am either. I talk to my therapist all the time, and he can't help me get it figured out either. So, welcome to the show. We are not developers. We are just rabid fans that have been...
Emphasis on rabid, by the way.
Yeah, I wish I had an Alka-Seltzer here.
Awesome. Oh, yeah, and I got a new mixer, too, which I'm still fiddling with. So if I'm too quiet or I have a bad echo or I sound like I'm on Mars, let me know. I'll try to tweak it. Yeah. The way the show works is this is an interactive show. We start out the show discussing whatever we think about new topics for the week. We only have usually about 4 topics, and then we go right into question and answer time where you in the audience can throw in some questions. So all you need to do is type in question in a bracket, and the moderators will grab it up and feed it into our chat over here so that we can answer your questions.
Yep. Simply done.
There we go. All right, so let's get started with our very first topic for this evening, which is Developer Diary Globe-Trotting. So they just had a Developer Diary come out today, I think, and they're trying to clarify the fast travel a little bit. And so one of the issues that they wanted to bring up was this is a procedurally generated world, so you're going to be able to travel really far in many, many different distances, in many different directions as far as you want to go, and essentially the world will keep building as you go, I believe, a lot like Minecraft. And if you find a spot that you really, really like and somebody's already built something there, you can travel to a different server and look for a similar type of spot, and you're not actually losing anything. Like, you can server hop, so it's different on every server, so you might be able to find a similar type of place on another server. So what do you guys think of this, Mr. Trendane?
This is the first thing I thought. I was like, little server hopping like little bunnies. Just because so many people have been on just to talk about Star Citizen for a second. That's one common complaint I hear is people talking about bunny hopping. I'm like, what the hell is that? Never mind, different game. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about that in Starcast. I find myself wondering if it's procedurally generated as you go. Where does it stop? Does it stop? Does it actually form a sphere? If there's a day-night cycle, what is the sun going around? If it goes on forever.
I might be over-exaggerating that a little bit. I think it might be... it is procedurally generated, but I think it might have a finite distance, I think. Like, it goes off a certain direction on the land, it goes a long way, and then it just drops off in the ocean, and that's ocean forever. Maybe.
Is the fishing good?
Might be. We haven't even talked about crafting yet or fishing.
Oh, God, don't get me started. Oh,
God. Fish.
I will start it would be horribly inappropriate for the rating of this show. I will need many moments alone on just, oh, God, I love crafting.
Ask, jeez.
Oh, sorry.
Good stuff. All right, Mr. Tobran, what do you think?
I don't know. If it said that it goes on forever, like you said, how do you define forever? Like, I think it would drop off into the ocean somewhere, but I think there would probably be beyond that. I don't think it's all in different servers. I think it's all in the same server, but it's a fast way to get from one server to the other. It's just a travel way, but, it's all still different continents, just with the same sort of thing, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And it was just clarified for Terry Pratchett fans out there. Mr. Shrouded Hope just says, the sun goes around the giant turtle between the legs of the elephants carrying the world on their back.
See, I knew that, and I was always wondering if that turtle ever got sunburn on its... Let's move on. What else were you saying?
I'm just wondering about the whole server hopping thing. How is that gonna work? Are we gonna be, I don't know, sitting there using a wizard spire, or are we gonna use like a druid spell, or how are we gonna get from server to server? And are we gonna travel to that same exact spot in every server? Which means, if that's the case, the land and the continents are all going to be sort of set up exactly the same.
Well, they said that you would create or buy tokens. I'm not quite sure how it's going to work, but then you'd go somewhere and they'd use that and then you'd go somewhere else.
Okay.
So I think all the servers sort of had landmarks within them, but their environment around them is just procedurally generated, I think.
Well, if it's a fully destructible environment, then even if all the servers start out looking exactly the same, right, different people would be able to completely alter the landscape on every single server.
Exactly.
So it makes me wonder if they all start out the same, and when you get to the edge on one server if you server hop to another server where the land is different, and then you go through that server. That you would effectively have a home server, but you transfer between servers, dynamically while you're. I don't know if that's the case. I'm just postulating.
Yeah, a lot of this is all speculation, everybody, because they haven't been very clear themselves. But they did say, Dave Georgeson said yesterday, I believe, in a tweet, that they are going to be releasing a ton of new information by the end of the month, whatever that means. I'm hoping it means that they're going to announce beta, because that would be killer.
That'd be amazing.
But for right now, this is all speculation, so we're all kind of guessing as much as you guys are.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to our next topic. Real-world holidays overlapping into EQN. So what they're referring to is, instead of calling it Christmas, because that's sort of a charged word, we would call it like the Yule time, or we'd call it Samhain, or whatever. We're going to come up with the pagan names for the different holidays. What do you guys think about real holidays overlapping into EQN, ALA, World of Warcraft?
They should call it Estralandale. And no, don't actually. Just happy Estralandale. Happy what?
Festivus.
Festivus. That always works and sounds a little bit like creepy Uncle Molestivus, which is what I used to be called.
Oh, God.
No. To legitimately address the topic. Address, not undress. See, for me personally, I like having similarly themed holidays going on at the same time that the real world holidays going on. Because if I'm off work because it's the Christmas holiday and I get into game, I want it to feel the same. Let's use WoW as a good example. They've got the Feast of the Winter Veil, which is good. They've got whatever the Thanksgiving one is, which may actually be going on.
The Harvest
soon.
Festival.
Yeah, that thing.
The Elder Festival, or and
they've got the Fire Festival for the summer and Brewfest. Have my little Wolfentinger follow me everywhere.
Yeah, I love the Wolfentinger.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I don't mind if they change the names, to something fitting the lore of the world.
Right.
That's fine. But I'm fine with and maybe toss in a few, custom holidays that are exclusive to the world. They don't all have to match up, but the major ones, I'm fine with that.
Like the Dwarven Ale Fest, something like that.
What was that? I don't know that.
No, I'm saying they come up with a new name.
Oh, right. Okay, I thought it was an actual thing. I was like, whoa.
No.
That sounds awesome.
On the wish list.
I'd love that.
Anything with ale is good.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you think, Mr. Tobran? What's your opinion on the holidays?
I'm in like mixed feelings. I think there should be things that are, kind of half and half. Like there should be things that are related to the real world, things that aren't. I think the best example of this was Guild Wars 1. There was Winter's Day, and that was always at Christmas time, but then you had Winter's Day in July, which was like Christmas in July, which is amazing. But it was so unique and different, it was really enjoyable. And you'd be in that Christmas mood, and everyone was like, what is summer? What are you talking about? It's brilliant.
Exactly. I don't know. Personally, I think it's fine. Because we have these holidays, and yes, somebody said in chat it's a little bit weird to have like a 4th of July festival when you're not from the U.S., so it doesn't really mean as much to you, and I can appreciate that because there's some of the other festivals that we don't celebrate here that have been working their way to other games, and I'm like, I'm okay, it's cool, it's fun to play around, but it doesn't mean as much to me as it does to the people from that particular country. So yeah, I don't have a problem.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
But I think it's good because it does help. It does allow for the passage of time. Like you can feel the seasons change in the real world, and if the virtual world that you're living in is also changing the same way. Winter's starting to come, and if they do have weather systems, I know they did talk about the biomes in the thing today.
Yes.
Biomes are areas of particular type of climate. So you've got like a really wintry climate, you've got a dry climate, a very green lush climate, a jungle climate, whatever. So if if during the winter time that we have the wintertime celebration, whatever it's going to be called, that it starts snowing all the way across the land, I'm all for it. I think that's great because then you can have a holiday sort of celebrating that. And the holidays do have reason for being. Back in ye olden times, we won't even talk about the Christian holidays, we'll just talk about the pagan ones. A lot of them had to do with the fact that, when you made it through the winter solstice, you were halfway through. And it meant that you only had the other half left to get through now. And then it'll warm back up again because the winter was always the hardest time to live.
Days were starting to get longer again.
Days are getting longer again. So there was a real point of celebrating that to say, okay, everything's coming. And then the springtime festivals with the rebirth of everything coming back alive again. So bringing those kind of holidays into the game, I think, is a great idea. Whatever they call them, I'm fine with. Just any kind of name that has to do with the lore fits for me.
Sounds about right, yeah. I'm all for that.
Crap. There was something else that came to mind and I just forgot it was.
That's okay.
It had to do with the seasons changing in. No, kind of. What I think would be kind of funny to see is if you were allowed, for each character you have, you are allowed to set the character's birthday.
Oh, so a lot like Final Fantasy XIV, which I had such a hard time getting into that game when it first came out. Not that I didn't want to play it, I just couldn't get into it. I made about 45 different characters. And that was one of the steps, was you had to pick the birthday, and you pick the day, the month, the year, all that kind of thing. So, yeah, it'd be cool if they could do that in this game. I mean, it does help build a little bit of attachment to your character a little bit more. And now, and with the multi-classing and all that, you really don't need many characters, to be quite honest with you. If you find one you really like and you get attached to, unless you want just something more aesthetically different.
And then permadeath!
Arr!
That's a horrible feeling. You get so attached to one character and then it's just gone forever. I hate that so much.
Yeah.
When I was on really, really heavy roleplay servers, that was one of our things, was that if the roleplay rolls out that your character dies, that's it.
You delete it?
Yeah. Or you move it to a different, a non-roleplay server so that you can continue playing with them. But if the whole purpose of that character was to RP with, if he's dead, he's dead.
It's hardcore.
Yeah.
It was very, very rough.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to our next topic. Remember, everybody, keep writing in the questions. I see a lot of questions going by, which is great. And I do want to do a special little shout out to everybody who is here with us tonight. Thank you a lot for coming. It makes this show so much better when we have so many people in the audience that are chatting with us, and
definitely
we can get all this stuff put together. Maka, we need to get you into the Skype call because I think DJ's not here right now, and we have no way to see the questions. There's so many. The text is going by so fast; it's going to be hard to catch.
Just scream them at us.
Yes.
We'll hear you.
Yeah. Scream them out. Ah! All right. So the next topic number 3. Merchandise soon. Merchandising.
Throw your money at them.
Speaking of holidays and blowing your money on useless items.
Yeah.
So, what I guess this discussion is, where is a merchandise store? I want an EQ Next t-shirt to wear on my EQ Next live stream.
Yeah.
And I want an EQ Next hat. And I want an
EQ... just want that full like costume, just everything.
I do. I want EQ Next battle axe that I can hold while I'm sitting here.
You can just build like a big round, wall on a gimbal behind you, so that you could just turn it and whatever's behind your camera is themed for whatever show you're on, and you just spin it and it just spins. Let's see what show we're doing today.
It's the EQ show.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. Exactly. And somebody just said a snowboard. What about an EQ Next skateboard?
Those could be cool. I know what I want. I personally,
fake
I want
ponytails. Oh my god, yes.
Pointing cleavage, fake George ponytails. Perfect.
I want voxel ice cube trays or Jello molds.
Mm-hmm. So and they're fully destructible ice cubes. You can break them.
Yeah.
And move them off to the side, or you can put them in your bag and take them with you somewhere.
And you make a water voxel, and it just pours all over all over the floor and everything. Yeah. But still, it was realistic. A water voxel for that long.
It was. Extremely. What kind of goodies would you like to see, Mr. Tobran?
just some t-shirts. Like, I'm t-shirt mad. I've got hundreds of t-shirts from different games. Like, I'm even wearing one right now from Elder Scrolls Online.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just any way to support, the game in any way. It's just what I really like. And when I went onto tried to find an SOE store, there just wasn't one at all. None
Right.
for PlanetSide, EverQuest, Free Realms, whatever that is. I'm not quite sure.
Kralis has an idea, a Smedley dial that says random stuff that doesn't come true, and you pull the little ring in the back, and it says soon, and TM at the end.
Yeah.
It says stuff that doesn't come true. See, that makes me think that you pull it at some point and it says, I love you.
Yeah. The Smedley dial doesn't love me. Oh, well.
And a Froglock plush. You gotta have a Froglock plush.
I want a Froglock plushie. It would fit really good next to my other little frog I got up there. See that?
Oh yeah, little froggy.
That little frog is. I've had that frog since I was 5 years old. It's my piggy bank from when I was a kid, and I never broke it. I still
What do
have it.
Froglocks eat?
Flies, don't they?
Yep, I think so.
I want to see a paddle that's a Froglock, and it's got the little rubber ball, but it's a fly, and you said doing, doing.
Eating that over there again. French flies, yes.
French flies.
They're much better.
Not
This is
French
French
flies.
No.
Hmm.
No Fletch flies, please. All right, we're getting a little silly tonight. Okay,
Yeah.
let's move on.
It's because they don't have any beer. That's why.
That's right. You need the liquid lubrication to help out a little bit. All right, this is a very heated topic, and I've actually had 3 people write me about this, saying, could we please cover PvP and PvE being identical because of the AI? And I think what they're asking is, because of the Storybricks AI, that these mobs are not going to be like anything else we've ever fought before. They're going to just run up and attack us from a mile away, just like if you had a very large
Aggro
range.
radius.
Yeah, aggro radius. And so players will have the ability to do the same thing, I think. So I'm not a big PvPer. I do play games like Smite occasionally, but that's a structured game that's supposed to be PvP. But I am not a big fan of PvP and MMOs because I think of it as a griefing system. That is my opinion. I know people aren't going to agree with me, but whatever. So what about you two guys?
PvP for the win. Like, that's all I'm gonna say. I love PvP so much.
All right, good.
So
Tell us about
I
it.
think what the problem here is, like, everyone's worried about the AI becoming smarter and becoming player-like, but the player's always going to find a way around it. They'll find this fastest build, they'll find the strongest build, and that's always what you're going to be up against. You're not going to be up against, that orc along the road. He's not going to be as powerful or as well thought out as, we would hope. AI is still AI. They don't have a way to react into specific situations. Like, if I stun it, he's still going to be like, I'm still going to kill you. But maybe to a player, they got a stun me, so I'll teleport back and then attack at range, maybe. It's just, I don't think the AI is as powerful as we think it is, but it's still going to be powerful.
Yeah, but they might have something built into it that says when you're stunned, you cast this other spell that removes the stun. They might have something that complex built in, depending on how smart they are. Remember, the low-level guys are going to have very basic needs, wants, reactions built into their system.
Yeah.
And then the high-end guys, like the lords or whatever, the orc king, is going to have a very, very complex set of instructions built in.
It really just depends how complex. I don't think there's any way to judge this until we see it in game, because a player, the human mind can react to every situation, but AI can really only go so far.
Mm-hmm.
So I really don't think PvP and PvE are going to become identical. That's just what I think.
I don't either. I think people might be thinking a little too much into this, like it's some kind of, like somebody wrote in this chat a minute ago, Skynet.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to be building robots with this anytime soon, no matter how good EQ Next is going to be.
That's what it wants you to think.
Maybe.
Oh dear.
Maybe it is.
Things are getting complex.
That's why they're in the black box still.
Mm-hmm. For me, I'm kind of in the middle of the road between the two of you. I guess that's why we designed the show this way. For me, I like PvP when it is my choice to do it. It's to look back at WoW. I love Battlegrounds because I could go and do PvP when I chose to do it. The rest of the time, I'm never on a PvP server, but I know where to go to find PvP if I want it. If I want to do PvP outside of that, I can flag myself, do PvP, and then not do it anymore, and not be subject to someone else's desire for PvP. I have no problem with people doing it. I just don't want to be forced into it. With the AI thing, I kind of agree with you, Tobran, in that it's the AI is never going to be as complex, at least not more than our lifetime, as we are. But I think that's also part of it. See, like the king of the goblins is not going to decide, dick, just totally go and chase you down no matter where you go, chase you and grief you in everything you do.
Right.
A player will do that. The NPCs hopefully won't.
They'll teabag you.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
And once with an NPC, once they got vengeance, once they did track you down and killed you, that would be the end of it for them.
Right.
Human players would keep doing
it. On it. And that's the main reason. I'll go off on a little bit of a rant here for a second. That was the main reason that bugged me about PvP, being on a PvP server. When I first started playing WoW, I had no idea which server I really wanted to play on, and I played on this PvP server because it was a friend of mine, and it was right after beta ended, and we were just like, let's play this server, whatever. And I stayed there for 2 years. And that's when I first bumped into some really hardcore griefers. And the way it worked out was, here I am by myself. I'm on South Shore. I'm level 21 or 22, and I'm off killing a bear. It's just doing my thing. Guy comes up, kills me, backstabs me, rogue. And this is my alt. So I've already got a max level character. I got a level 60 character in my pocket. So I get pissed. I go get my level 60 character. I come back down, and I forget what it was, but it was maybe a mage or something that was really good against rogues. And, a hunter. And so I would take him out, and so then he would get his friends. And what turned out for me just having a nice quiet afternoon going and playing turned into this massive war between all these different people. And while that, yes, is fun, I still was not developing the character that I really wanted to play that day. And my only alternative was to then log off and wait an hour or two till everyone left and I could come back.
I suppose that's kind of the fun of PvP, though. If it's open world PvP, you can just jump in anywhere. This is just because I feel PvP is fun. But you can jump in anywhere, someone can try to attack you, and you can try to attack back. And then more and more people come. It becomes this big, full-out battle, army, one-on-one sort of thing. It's amazing. But to some people don't enjoy that, which is why I think you had your problem on your PvP server.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy that. I did want a PvP, but I wanted it to be more structured. In those days, they didn't even have battlegrounds. So that was the only place you could PvP was in the world. And I can't really blame the guys, but it was just not fun. I just wanted it. So I actually, a lot of times, would make a new character and play that one because that was usually in a sort of a semi-safe area. And I could play there for a couple hours and not be bothered.
All right.
Yeah. So that's my opinion on that. We'll see what happens when we get into EQ next.
Yeah.
All right. Next, it's Q&A time.
Yeah.
Almost exactly on the time. We always get through 4 questions roughly at the half-hour mark, and then we have another half hour to chat about the questions. So I guess I'll make a... Not in this chat, so we got to... Next time we'll make it in the chat. But I'm going to go ahead and just scroll up here, so I won't be able to see the questions below. All right. I think the first question is from Song Hunter. They ask, what do you guys think of an idea floating around on Reddit and remade like an article in EQ Hammer about having different death penalties depending on the mob that killed you, the difficulty of the encounter? The orc steals some gold, bandits some gear, beasts leave you speed debuffed, etc., etc. Have either one of you guys read this article or kind of...
Yeah, I have a few times.
So that's perfect, and you can talk about it.
Alright, okay, so the idea is, different type of enemies. A raid boss will leave you with a massive debuff, whereas something on the side of the road will only give you a small debuff. And that's the risk versus reward. If you're going to tackle something really hard, if you die and you fail, you've got a massive penalty to work off. And I don't know what it'll be for a raid boss. They've only given very small examples, but it'll probably be something big, like massive corpse run, or half the XP. I don't know what they have in store, but I think it's a really good system because it's that risk versus reward that just really brings it together for that. And it's very unique as well.
What are your thoughts, Mr. Trendane?
Well, I was about to say that my only problem with the XP loss would be that if it caused you to de-level, but EverQuest Next doesn't have levels. So what's the XP for? I don't understand. I just don't understand. See, I would need to see what a deeper mechanic of what the penalties are for something like that. Because I mean, it would be fine. The stronger the boss, the stronger the penalty. But what I worry about is that, if you've spent a tremendous amount of time working up to the point where you can try to take on this boss, and because you've died to this boss, you've now been set back 10 steps and have to work up to it again. While that's brutal. It's brutal, but if you know that going in, that's, you could always go play something else if you don't like it. I mean, there's a brutality to the logic, but still, I guess I'd be okay with it. It's just I wouldn't be raiding all that much because I would be RPing.
Right. Standing out the side, handing out napkins and bandages to the people walking by.
Standing there in the rain with a cup.
Man, you're going to die. Here's a Band-Aid.
You're going to need this. It's dangerous to go alone. The 8 of you. Take this with you.
I think it would be really interesting as well if they added that mechanic into PvP. So if a player kills you, they get to choose what they want. Do they want gold? Do they want gear? Or whatever they want? I think that'd be really interesting.
It would, but is the gear... I mean, is it your gear? You're going to lose your shoulder pads because somebody killed you?
I'm not quite sure how. I just blurted it out.
No, that's okay. I'm just playing along with you.
There are some great ideas that come from just blurting things out.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
All right. Question from Zeria. How do you feel about EQN having achievements in the game that will unlock items and gear the more achievement points you have? What do you guys think? Is it sort of like the Rose song? Have you heard anybody say anything that the more achievement points you get, the more items will be available for you to buy? I haven't heard anything of that myself, but maybe I missed something.
That sounds awesome if it's true.
Well, it also kind of makes sense. I mean, the more money you have, the more things you can buy.
Yeah.
But whether they're even visible or not, I mean, is that what the question is pointing to?
They're saying. I think they're saying like this: you kill boss X, and you kill boss Y, and you kill boss Z, and those 3 things are in your achievement. And because you killed the trifecta of those 3 bosses, you now get the ability to purchase a new sword that has fire coming off it or something like that. But you can't purchase that sword until you've done the trifecta thing. I think is what they're saying, sort of like using the Rose song to guide what you can purchase. And I think that sounds like a good system. It sounds like a good system. I haven't heard anything about it yet myself, so I can't say one way or the other.
I suppose that'd be a really good way to stop RNG. If this boss drops this one certain item, everyone's going to want it. Mm-hmm. If everyone does that achievement and then they get the item at the end, I think everyone's happy.
That's a good point. Yeah. So you don't
honestly.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. To me, that honestly, it sounds like an achievement version of a rep system. That you kill these 3 things, you will have earned enough rep with us to be able to buy this. So instead of having rep, now you're using achievements as the currency.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it could be like you're also getting tokens of some kind too. Like you've killed this boss and then you save up enough of those tokens and then you can buy that gear, but only with the tokens system.
Yeah, Guilders 2 had a really good system. It was for a weapon you had to run the dungeon, I think it was 8 times, and for a piece of gear it was 6 times. Mm-hmm. So the more you ran the dungeon, the more gear you would get, and you weren't relying on those random drops, which I thought was a really good system. Then again, I spent a year playing that game, so that's just my opinion.
It's good. I'm just reading the next question. Okay. So, how do you think mob respawn will work in the context of emergent AI? SOE devs said they will release them into the world. How will that work? This is from Renton. Sorry.
I guess it would just be a random spawn to start with, but then as they move out and move on, I guess that would fix it. But I guess at the start of the game, there's going to be somewhere random, and then from that, they will expand and use their AI to move on. Right,
because they'll have their own built-in wants and needs, and if this one orc needs to eat, he'll go chase down some sheep, and if the other one's hungry or cold, he'll start a fire. Those are the basics of the story bricks that pretty much everyone agrees on that is going to be in the game, so it's not like we're thinking this is too outlandish. But when they come back, what are they going to? It could be a random state. They could come back really hungry. They could come back really cold. and whatever state that is how they're going to respawn.
Or are they talking about like after that? Like, let's say there's 5 at a camp, you kill them all, then what? What happens to the camp, sort of thing? Is that what they're asking?
It could be. Maybe the fire goes out.
Maybe the fire goes out.
Back.
Yeah.
I do know.
Or you destroy the fire.
Or you destroy the fire. I do know they say that they don't want it being that camp is where everyone goes all the time.
Yeah.
There's going to be certain areas that are constant, but for mobs, everyone calls them mobs, right? Mob stands for mobile object. And
monster object.
Monster object. It's with the way the game was designed years ago, back in the mud days. And it's supposed to be that they're mobile and they move around. But it's sort of gone away from that. But with the AI like it is, I believe we're going to see a whole new type of gaming. You're going to have to really run around trying to find these things.
Yeah.
So maybe that could be part of it, or maybe again theory craft.
This is all theory crafting, yeah.
Not just killing. You wipe out all the orcs or whatever, and you will get some small modicum of bounty. When you return to whatever town or something. But if you ransack the camp and destroy it, you get even more. Not a lot more, but a little bit more. And so in doing so and destroying that camp, obviously they're going to respawn somewhere else, but they won't make their way back to, or another group won't make their way back to that same camp and then start a fire and then whatever. Or you've got a farm nearby where they're raising sheep, and some orc scout goes out and is like, and goes back and tells, or grabs one of the sheep and then runs off with it, and goes back and says, "Look what I found," and then they're all like, "Ooh," and then they all come back after this.
That seems very reasonable, actually.
And then you could stop that one on its way, and then that would, they would have to wait for the next scout to go out to try find it. So you could essentially give them more time for an event.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if they send a scout out to find out why the scout hasn't come back, and they find said scout's body, scout number 2 goes back and said, "They killed him," and it's like, oh, it is on and now, and they all armor up and come the hell after your ass.
Yes, I definitely could see them coming after you. I think that's going to be built in, especially if you piss them off enough. There's no reason why they can't say, okay, with this particular person, I have a level of this where I don't like them. But after they've harassed me enough, you start moving up to where now you're kill on sight for all of these guys in this area because they know you so well. The reputation system. It's not, they're using it right now in current MMOs, so saying that it wouldn't be an EverQuest Next, just right out the window. Another question. This is from Ixath. Sorry, I'm really bad with names, Think we will be able to make actual items in EverQuest Next Landmark, like doors and lights, or will we be stuck making empty shells of buildings?
No, I'd hope we would be able to make doors and lights, because we saw that in one of the time loop things. I can't remember what they're called, but I'm pretty sure they had time lapse. That's it. I'm pretty sure we saw like plants and objects within that as well, and they had like vases and stuff. So I would hope there is.
Yeah, I can't see why they wouldn't have the ability to make light switches and things. You can do that in Minecraft right now, and they did kind of point that this game is sort of like a really heavy-duty, high-intense Minecraft.
Ooh.
What?
Ooh. I was just thinking that you've gone through and you've got your sheep farm and you're inside and you hear something going on outside, and you look through the window of your house and you can see the orcs outside stealing your sheep. And so you go and you blow out all the lanterns, and the lights go out and everything. So then one of them tries to come inside, but all the lights are out. I don't know. My writer brain just started going shit with that. It was
Yeah, no, it's very cool. There's so many different things that we are just basically theory crafting about, but there are things that I think are pretty reasonable to assume would be in the game, and that's definitely something like that, like lighting scenarios. If a room is really well lit, everyone can see you, then they can come after you. If it's not so well lit, then maybe not. So they can they ignore you at that point. All right, question from Shadowspawn 2112. Gear that is scalable as you skill up, it becomes more powerful. All right, so in this game, they're not going to have your standard progression with gear, right? Like, because there are no levels. But you are going to be able to get more powerful weapons and gear to an extent, but they're not going to... I mean, I don't know this yet. I'm just theory crafting here too. But I don't believe it's going to necessarily say plus 10 to dex. You know, maybe it will. Well, what do you guys think about this?
Okay, I'll go first then. Unless we're talking about enchantments, I think the only way that you would be able to do that is you get better at making the armor, and so you find better ways to work the joints so that you can move better with your weapons and whatnot. In that way, you would increase your dexterity, or you would reduce the penalty to your dexterity from wearing poorly made armor or average quality armor. Once you get into enchantments and stuff, if there will be such, then you will work on buffing your agility and whatnot, would be my guess.
Okay.
But as far as sorry, no, go ahead.
No, on you go.
Okay, all right. The only thing I was thinking was, if you start out with your armor is a chain shirt or something, and you later on get the ability to augment it by adding pauldrons or adding greaves to it, and that becomes a part of the shirt. I could see steadily increasing your armor that way, but it's not like a magical thing.
This is one thing, and maybe Tobran, you and I could sit down with this, and maybe we could do it with Trendane too. Come up with a video explaining the leveling system in this game, because it's not really leveling; it's horizontal progression.
Yeah,
and
I think a lot of people are confused about that.
I'm confused, and I read about this all the time, and I can't make a correlation between any game that I currently know that uses this exact thing. And people are always saying, "Hey, Domo, why don't you make a video about it?" Well, if I can't figure it out myself, how can I make a video about it? So, if
honestly, I just think we need more information about it.
Yeah, I agree. We're all sort of still in the dark, but by the end of this month, apparently, we're supposed to have some breaking news and a lot more stuff to talk about. So I can't wait, because hopefully we can clarify quite a few of these things.
Well, you're going to have to.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait. All right, question. Does today's dev diary reveal that landmark fast travel require crafted or purchased travel tickets give you hope that fast travel in Next will be harder to acquire, not as common? This is from Seamus James, who's a very regular viewer of ours.
I think when they said they're going to be able to craft it, I think it's going to be something really hard to get your hands on, like some ridiculously hard to find item that's in the third tier or something along those lines. I don't think it's going to be something you're easily going to stumble upon. So I just don't think it's like that. It's
going to be a lot like EverQuest 1, where you could fast travel, but you had to find somebody who had the ability and skill to do it, or you're going to be able to craft or make these tickets or purchase these tickets that will allow you to travel.
Which means that all someone has to do is gain that ability, and then they can absolutely rape the economy
for a while
by selling these things, unless making them is more difficult than they would, or that it's difficult enough that it's a deterrent to.
Which brings us to another topic we could talk about, which is BOE or BOP. If you craft these things, are they only going to be usable for you, or will you be able to sell them? And if it's enough people can sell them, and it starts out where they're worth 5 platinum a piece, and enough people start making them, they're going to drop down into like 2 silver or less, unless the materials are crazy expensive.
I think if materials are crazy expensive, they should just be bind and equip. If you've traveled really far and really hard to get these items, you shouldn't be able to sell them. They should just be just for you. But I know a lot of people are probably thinking the exact opposite of that.
Yeah. Well, we will see. Yet another one we don't know much more about than you guys do right now. All right, another question. Do you want bodies to magically disappear or something more realistic? Like, example, skin or butcher body, bury the bodies, mobs eat the bodies, etc.
Sounds cool, but that sounds really complex. Like, let's take an example of that orc. Was it an orc? Was it a gnome? What did we kill earlier? The orc. Yeah, like let's say the guy's buddy came along and said, "Oh, he's dead. Oh crap, what do we do with it?" Maybe they might burn the body, maybe they might bury it, and that's all up to the AI again. Or maybe the player can do something along those lines to try, cover it up, maybe frame someone else. That'd be cool. That would be pretty cool as well.
There is a part that I want to talk about. I'll let Trendane, if you want to go first, go ahead, because I have a interesting take on this, maybe.
Well, I suppose wildlife, whatever there will be of wildlife, would probably have its own minor AI with its needs and whatever else. And I was just thinking that, along the lines of what we were talking about, that, like a pack of wolves is wandering through and find the body of said scout from earlier, and they just eat whatever of it they can and leave, the bones behind.
Yeah.
If that doesn't happen within, say, 15 minutes, just set up an animation so that the body despawns, but it just looks like roots, or maybe a swarm of flies or maggots or something. It just kind of rots away into the ground, and then it's gone. I don't know.
No, that's exactly what I was going to try to say. I was going to say, oops. Oh, what happened?
I don't know. Oh my God!
What happened to the
I was
video?
hoping no one would ever see that picture.
Too bad.
What happened to the
Oh well,
video?
the whole internet's seen it now. Well, good game.
Yeah, way to go, Joe. Why did your guys' video go away?
I don't know. I didn't do anything.
Try to get mine back up.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone look at Tobran's face. Mine's not much better on Skype. Oh, this is crap. What happened?
Apparently,
all I did was click it by accident and it just won't go away. It won't come back. Yeah, weird.
More technical problems.
More
Yay.
technical problems. All right.
That's okay. Keep working on it, and we'll keep going.
I don't know if I can fix it other than restarting it back up again.
Oh dear.
Because I don't know. It's not like there's nothing there. Like the video's not even there.
Who cares? We're supposed to save the sheep.
Save the sheep.
I had a really great thing I wanted to talk about too.
So go ahead. We don't have to be seen to be heard.
Yeah.
Right, I'll talk for a second. All right. So my opinion about this thing is, I would like to see. There's a part that could possibly be exploited, and if you played World of Warcraft about 3 or 4 years ago, there was a spot in Orgrimmar, however you pronounce it. I'm really bad with names, and also in Stormwind, mostly in Orgrimmar, that was right near the auction house, that if you piled up the bodies in just the right way, they would spell out things in the sky. And it was like for Susan Gold or whatever it was, and it was there for months, and they never seemed to be able to fix that.
Yeah.
So
I remember loads of gold farmers just stacking up and just spelling out their
you can spell that
website.
stuff into the sky, and so if we're gonna have lots of corpses lying around, I want them to decay over time, but I would like to see the decay, because it could also tell where an area is that's really, really dangerous for people.
Then I would want to also augment that depending upon what died there would alter a little bit of the ground. For example, orcs are not exactly the most glorious and delicious of species. So, an orc dies there and rots away, and the plants that are there wind up becoming, other more, plants like.
Yeah, I could see that.
Knoll blood or some thing. Then you'd have people who were trying to farm, some horrible, nasty flower by killing a whole bunch of things and putting their bodies there and waiting for it to rot.
Yeah. All right. Well, hold on one second, guys. I'm going to keep streaming, but I'm going to end the call and call you right back and see if we can get this fixed.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
So they're gone. I can talk about them now. Shoo-doo-dooby-doo. While we're waiting, let's see. We have some more questions? Yeah, we do.
Hello.
Right. I can see you,
Tell me I'd
Trendane.
have to answer.
Well, yeah, you got to answer.
Oh, I think my Skype's crashed. It's not good.
Yay!
Maybe it was your fault.
Maybe it was my fault. Who knows? Right, I'm going to close Skype and I'm going to try to come back on.
Okay.
Let's see. What do we have up here?
When he comes back, is it going to screw up all the windows again?
Well, I'm going to wait for him to get back.
Skype doesn't want to seem to close.
So not only has it not crashed, now you can't, or not only has it crashed, but you can't.
I can't even force close it. This is awful.
Zombie Skype.
It's just bad tonight. All right, well, I will stay on the screen and we can chat, and Trendane's here. So until the other one comes back, Mr. Tobran, we'll just chat, and we'll answer the questions as best we can here. All right. So another question from Seamus James. Seamus. My tongue gets all wrapped up. Would you be surprised if Landmark draws and retains more players than Next, as it sounds like it will basically function like a newer, improved version of Minecraft?
I would not be one bit surprised.
Either would I.
Not at all.
Not even a little bit. Because my kid plays Minecraft, and he will play it.
I'm back.
All right, he's back.
Hi.
Hello, back.
Hi.
My son plays Minecraft. He loves it to death. And with the abilities of the voxel engine that they're going to have in this, being as amazing as they are, I can see it working out pretty good. Hey, look at that!
Yeah, we're back.
We're back.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, everybody. Sorry for a little bit of a technical glitch there.
More sexy beardness, that's right.
Oh, you make me feel better.
Oh, that's all right. You said you're hung like a centaur. That's telling me about it. And by that I mean hanged. Because that's very difficult to do.
Yeah.
What happen is you got to get like really tall like stools, not for them to stand on, and then you put that rope around their neck, and that snap it. But you got to push over all the stools at the same time, and it takes like a lot of people.
Tobran, he sounds more Scottish than you do.
Yeah, he does. My accent isn't actually that strong.
No, it's not. Which is okay. I just thought it was funny. All right. So yes, my opinion on would Landmark possibly keep more players than Next? I believe so. Now, what do you guys think? I just saw a video this week, and I don't know if I missed something, but somebody came out with a video saying breaking news about EverQuest Next Landmark is it's going to be a full MMO. Like, I knew that they were adding the ability to fight, and I knew they were going to be doing that. So they're going to have quests now too, and it's going to be a complete MMO now. Is that something I missed? I don't know. I don't
think so. I would class it as like a sort of mini MMO. It doesn't have quite the full features. I don't think it has questing. That's the first I've heard about that.
Me too. That's why I thought I'd bring it up, because I wanted to clarify that a little bit. If it is going to be a full MMO, more power to them. I believe this is a great model, and probably future games should come out this way, where you come out with a pre-game that is a beta that basically allows players to work in, build, develop, help out, bug test, all these different things, and then you say, now is the released game, which will have everything in it. What do you think, Trendane? You're more involved in this than I am, because you actually worked in the industry.
My first thought was the next company that needs to do that is RSI.
Yes.
Get all the artists out there who are really good with 3D stuff, especially building solar systems. Just have the public build systems, build worlds and stuff, and do the same thing that Landmark is doing.
I kind of think they are.
If these things are curated, then they get uploaded to the server. They can get added into the thing, and just.
Last night in that news article, the live dead stream that they came out with,
the next great starship.
Yeah, the next great starship, which they're opening up to anybody who is a modeler. They have to be able to rig it, which is putting it together. So they got the next great starship. If you're a modeler and you know how to put that stuff together and skin it and work with other, like maybe graphic artists to develop skins and textures, and also some other people that'll do some of the mechanics, and then also a modeler, you get a whole team together, you could possibly have another ship in that game, which I really kind of think RSI is watching what's going on over here with SOE, because this is blowing the doors off of a lot of different type of games.
Mm-hmm. I would say so too.
Jay froze up, Trendane. weird.
Oh yeah. I was watching the little blue lights on my webcam.
There we
You're
go.
back. But that was like the scariest face. Your eyes were like all kind of melted down. You're like, "Argh." Yeah, it was really bad.
It's probably after effect from the stream last night. Getting back to Landmark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say that we're still on whether or not it's an MMO.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Yeah.
But I went off on a tangent with the whole build it from, what do you call it there, Star Citizen.
Yeah, I know, but I would say that I would agree with you, Tobran. I think it would be a mini MMO at best. I don't see a lot of need for quests. I mean, the addition of combat I can see, because you will have mobs wandering around who are also looking for resources and such like that. But I don't see quests.
Yeah, I really don't see that working. I suppose you could get like achievement quests that's like go out and get so many of this. I suppose that works, but it wouldn't really be that much fun.
All right. Apparently they can't hear you that well. Sorry.
That's okay.
I got you turned all the way up. Oi! Such technical difficulty. Oh, here it is.
I was going to say, maybe the...
How about now? Is that better, guys?
I don't know. Oh, you mean better for them? Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody say yes. There we go. Ow.
I fixed it.
You want ow?
Fixed it.
If you want ow, I can lean over and I can start doing my werewolf voice into that thing. But no.
Be funny, man.
A funny werewolf. Yeah, sure. Okay, there's lots of those. Well, Michael J. Fox, he was a very funny werewolf. Anyway, yeah, I would say yes. It's a mini MMO. I have a hard time imagining why there would need to be NPCs. I mean, like townsfolk and stuff in Landmark.
Yeah.
So who would be giving you these quests? So no, I mini MMO, yes, in the fact that it is literally that. It's a multi...
I believe you're going to be able to walk around and kill things.
Yeah.
Like you see a sheep and you need wool for your light switch. You know.
And there will be other players, which I suppose classes as an MMO, but I don't really see it working out fully. I
just realized something. There would not be light switches in...
That's why every time you guys say that, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
It didn't make sense to me, but I was thinking Minecraft. You know, Minecraft, you get the redstone and you can set up switches and traps. And I mean, you could probably do that. They do want everyone building dungeons, and they're going to allow you to actually tweak the AI for your mobs that you want to put in your dungeons. So you can have a centaur that's crazy and slams his head in the wall every time you walk by him or something. It's EverQuest without quests.
So just be Ever Landmark. Ever next Landmark.
They're going to be magic light switches, says Inariba. All right,
I prefer like gas lamps rather than switches.
We got a couple more questions, I think. Maybe. The text is going by so fast.
So many people talking.
It's just because they love us so much.
And I can't play anything on my guitar. Sorry, guys. Somebody said I look like I'm a metal dude. I do like metal music, but I'm not very good on the guitar. I would probably sound like a couple of cats mating or something.
Ooh. Now I'm getting my Guild Wars 2 fantasies are all coming back again.
Oh, God.
Little char stuff. Question. Someone asked about how do you think they will make the classes races feel unique? Yes, I did see that earlier, and I don't know how I missed that one. Thank you, Shadow Spawn. Okay, so we're going to have the many different races, but they are not going to restrict any of the races from any of the classes. So every single race will be able to be every single class. And I think there's a reason for that. It's probably logistically impossible to lock certain races out of certain classes, even though it would fit the role play a little bit better. It would cause problems when you need to have a Shadow Knight in this particular instance, and you can't bring a Shadow Knight because you have all like dwarves, or something that can't be a Shadow Knight. You know, so they have to open that up. But what do you guys think about what will make the classes races feel unique? How do you think they'll be able to do that?
I think it just all comes down to the abilities. Like, if there's a certain class that can do a certain thing and it's enjoyable, then people are going to play that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to make it feel more unique than another class that doesn't have that ability, but maybe it has something else that makes it unique in that way. Because I have a feeling most of the weapon abilities are going to be very similar, but I think it's those utility skills that are going to be the unique ones that really define the class.
Mm-hmm.
Because someone was talking about in EverQuest 2, there was a class that you could actually control NPCs as. And if there's an ability like that in the game, I would like to see that work, especially with this new AI.
I didn't play EverQuest 2 enough to know what that would be. Anybody in the audience know what we're talking about?
It was a sorcerer, I think they called it.
A sorcerer that could actually control NPCs?
Yeah.
I mean, I was a necromancer, but that was something different. I mean, obviously you can control bony guys. What do you think, Mr. Trendane?
I was just thinking that...
Coercer. Okay, cool. Thank you.
No, I'm more of a tempter than a coercer. Oh,
Zarya. Hi, Zarya. She's a friend of mine.
No, it was. Now I'm starting to lose the thread of where we were going. I'm suffering a cascade failure. Pretty soon I'll forget I'm on Skype. But I almost had it back. Not only their abilities, but I mean, different races for me should move in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
So they would all need very different animations as far as their walking animations, their running, their fighting animations. Yeah. They would have to be very, like the elves, whatever, would have to be very, very fluid, very graceful. Now that's a part of the problem, because I would imagine that a lot of the Karen are also very graceful, but a slightly different kind of graceful. You know, the elves are just more of an effeminate kind of graceful. Jesus, oh my god. Whereas the Karen are a little bit more butch kind of graceful.
Yeah, absolutely. You know? Well, they could be feline. I have a question for you, Trendane. I'm scrolling back to the questions here. Are you Brass's husband?
Am I Brass?
Brasse.
Yeah.
Brassie's husband.
If I remember correctly, and I believe it's Brass. Okay. If I remember correctly, Brass is a girl. Oh. So no. That answers that question. I mean, it's like, for me, okay, let's put it this way. For me, whenever a woman, I mean, there are lots of women who are my friends, and I can recognize when a woman is beautiful, but when they start hitting on me, all I see is, it's just.
Oh God.
Oh.
All right, Trendane's traumatic youth experiences have just exploded on the screen.
Oh dear.
Oh my lord.
So no, not her husband.
All right, we'll move on then. Should players need to kill creatures to collect some sort of creature mass that is used to chase or build monsters? I don't know that word.
I'm sorry, to start again?
Okay. Should players need to kill creatures to collect some sort of creature mass that is used to URCHASE or build monsters, or should players be able to populate their terrain however they want? I guess what they're trying to ask is this.
Oh, purchase.
Purchase. So this is like a purchase. Oh, you forgot the P. All right. So like necromancers need to get bone chips. I mean, that's the way it always was in EverQuest 1. And before you could cast, to make more little skellies, you needed bone chips.
Mm.
So yeah, I don't know.
So every time you want to use that spell, you use an item from your inventory, right?
Yeah, but I'm guessing. Right. Okay. And so maybe he's talking about in EverQuest Next Landmark. If say you wanted to put orcs around your dungeon, you might have to go out and get orc parts. And you come back and you cast the orc rejuvenation spell, and now you have an orc that you can use in your dungeon.
All right, so you have to like sort of earn them. They're not just there for you to eat. Right, okay.
Right, yeah. That is a good question, because in other games where you are able to build things, you have we'll just use Minecraft as an example. You have Minecraft creative mode, and in creative mode you have everything. So you never actually have to earn anything. If you want to build an entire building out of diamond blocks, you can. But in the real game, you actually have to go out, find those diamonds, come back, and you're probably not going to use them to make building blocks out of. You're going to use them for swords or armor or whatever, pickaxes. So that is something I'm curious about in this game. Are they going to open every single thing up to the players to just build out of? You know
Probably not at the start.
Yeah.
No way at the start. Maybe later on, but definitely not at the start. They're going to have to tweak a lot of things at the start.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of having to collect orc parts while amusing. No. That could be the very reason why they've added, monsters to Landmark. If you had to go out and get these pieces, even if that's not the intent, it could work to that effect.
Yeah. So maybe not orc parts, but maybe you have to get orc teeth. Some kind of little bits that you need to.
Jason and the Argonauts. It took the teeth from the teeth from the Hydra and planted them, right. And all the little skeletons came out of that.
That's right. Well, there you go. So yeah, they could pull in that kind of thing.
I see it working.
Yeah. All right. Should you be required to unlock one class in order to receive a new class, like a cleric or a priest, or should they all be unique? I think we talked about this before in a previous Into the Portal. We were saying, if you work on a... What are you laughing at?
I just you were at Legendary Neurotoxins like orc butts, and it just made me think. Every single time I went to Orgrimmar before Thrall left, I would go in, and of course I'm an RPer, so I walk in and I kneel down before him, and he's like, "Hello, my friend. Have you come to serve the Horde?" And I'm like, "Oh, in the weirdest way. Oh my god." Sorry, it just makes me laugh every time I think about it.
Oh my god. Well, anyway, back to the question at hand. Yes, so if you have... I can see where you're going with this. So to become a high-level priest, you have to have first been a cleric, and before that, maybe you were a brother or whatever. They got 40 classes here. Monk. So you're a monk, then you were a cleric, and then you became a priest. So you sort of worked your way up the hierarchy, and I could see that as being very viable, but they haven't yet released exactly how we're going to get these 40 classes. What do you guys think?
I think keeping it unique makes it more fun. Like, I hate having to grind to something I don't enjoy to get something I might enjoy, but by the time I get there, I'm like, oh, this isn't actually the class for me. I've just wasted a bunch of time. Mm-hmm. I just don't feel like that'd be a good system.
Trendane?
Pretty much the same thing, but again, that sounds like what we were talking about not having any regrets. You followed the skill path out and realized that you can't do that other thing you wanted to do. This is what we were talking about with Locke last time we did it. Mm-hmm. Same thing.
All right. Next question. Should half races be allowed, or should all races be pure?
Half races.
Yeah. For sure half race. I'm totally for it. Half Karen, half elf.
Halflings.
Half orc, half gnome.
Ooh. Well, that would be funny.
That'd be weird.
I mean, certain races obviously probably wouldn't get together, but I'm all for like half
not
elves.
Willingly.
Yeah. Tobran, your avatar is a half elf, right?
No.
Elf?
No.
What is it?
It's a human.
Is it? Oh my gosh! It looks like for some reason to me, it looks like a half elf.
No, it's human. Okay. I've always been human. Any game I've ever played, it's always been human. Ever.
I always go for a beast race, but I'm a furry. Go figure. I live my life as a human all the time. Why would I want to be something I already am? So I always go for a beast race and so on.
I'm just scrolling now because I have to scroll up to see the questions. So I'm scrolling down back through Trendane's face.
That sounds odd.
And then the comments that people left afterwards. Oh my god! Yes, we need to put that on a blooper reel.
Oh.
All right. From Phantom X. Hello, Phantom X. Steve Klug said, voxels are a tool to enable some of the new and exciting gameplay experiences we are delivering with EverQuest Next. We have other new technologies we're bringing to the game that will be just as mind-blowing. Any thoughts on what this tech might be?
No.
No
idea? I have no idea. They've shown us quite a lot of completely new things already. I think if they're adding more, that just adds a whole new level of more things to be excited about.
Right, we have Storybricks, which has never been done before in a major AAA MMO. I mean, the people who make Storybricks had their own game. I'll use quotations for that. It was pretty bad. I mean, they are not developers for games. They develop AI. So anyway, they had that, Storybricks, and then they've also got the voxel engine, which is amazing, and they're using the Forgelight engine. So those three things together are pretty impressive. I can't imagine what they would be, but Trendane, is there anything that you saw going on at EA that you could discuss now that might be kind of cool that they just never put into an actual game? No? Either you can't tell us or you just...
No, there's nothing cool at EA.
That was a weird question, I guess.
That's not true. The cafeteria at headquarters is awesome. They just finished redoing it. They spent millions of dollars to redo that cafeteria, and it is amazing. The cooks there are fantastic. Oh, you mean game-wise?
Yeah,
no,
game-wise,
nothing, not really. There used to be. How
about everybody in the audience? Does anybody have any ideas what would be cool to see them for technology?
While we're waiting for them to respond, one of the things that brought to mind was there was a couple of, I think it was maybe a week or two ago, after the Evercast show, I was over in on the Minecraft server I was watching a stream of Cal from Evercast building some big harbor town in Minecraft, and it made me think, okay, he wants to make a river, and he basically tells it spawn water there. And it just boom fills in with water. You're not going to have that option in Landmark, So I think that might be a sticking point, or not a sticking point, but that might be a difficulty in adaptation for people moving from Minecraft into Landmark. They can't just tell it spawn a water source right there.
No,
you will have to dig a trench and make the water go over there.
But that would be so cool, though, if you had some sort of like God mode where you just walk over and go smite that mountain, and it just crumbles down,
blows up.
You just be like they're doing the thing from Fantasia, raising up the land and knocking it down and moving it over there. That would be so cool. Because then I'd be Tim the Enchanter, and I'd just stand on a hill blowing things up.
Tim?
Explosions everywhere.
There's some that call me Tim.
And you spawn a whole bunch of horrible, vicious monsters with big teeth.
Big pointy teeth. All right, question. It's moving too quick on me. Stop it. All right. Feeling good. I love the name. In the lore they released so far, it sounds like all the races will be friendly to each other when the game starts. Do you think this will stay this way, or will races feud and split apart from each other and cause different races to once again have their own starting cities like the other games in the franchise?
That sounds cool. That sounds extremely cool.
I have a very strong opinion about this. Go ahead, Mr. Trendane.
Well, I was going to say that, for people like me who try to turn other games into World of Peacecraft, because I play an arbiter. I go in and I settle disagreements. It's like I walk in, I'm like, all right, there's three sides to every story. There's your side, and the truth. Thank you, Babylon 5. And it's just go in and it's like, okay, so you said it's this. All right, now each of you play devil's advocate, and you argue his point and you argue her point. Why? Because if you can argue her point successfully, that proves to me that you know what the hell she's trying to say. More often than not, they never get it right. But anyway, it's just invariably, especially in competition for resources and stuff, things just start to break down. It is in human nature. I don't care what race you're playing. It is in human nature as the players that things are going to go wrong at some point. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think things will eventually go south.
Yes, I think so, too. Okay, so I did that whole video on the lore in 10 minutes, and I butchered the names horribly. And I'm thinking at some point in the near future, I might release that where I have Trendane or somebody hold my hand and tell me how to say these names correctly, because I'm really, really bad with them, and I don't mean to do it on purpose. But anyway, and reading a couple of the lore now, real quick for those who might be watching who might not be 100% up on this, I'll just give you a real quick. This is a lore reboot, and basically what ended up happening was all the races were sort of spread apart, the land, and everything was sort of the way it was in, you imagine, in EverQuest 1. And what ends up happening is the dragons kind of get held down far too long by the bad elves. And what ends up happening is the dragons eventually retaliate, and they kill pretty much everybody. And so all the remaining races that are alive, all the people that are alive at that time, get together. They go to a city, and they then leave from that city and head over to the other lands. What was the land? Oh, what doesn't matter. Anyway, and over there they meet up with the Ixar and the Sishar.
Well done, you said them right.
Okay, good. Okay, so I said them right. So they met up with them, and the Sishar are bad guys, and the Iskar are basically bred to fall in love with, or not bred, but to work for the Sishar, and the Exiles, which are now, that's what they're called, right? The Combine Accord, sorry. The Combine and the Ixar work together, and they defeat the Sishar, and they decide to head back home. So now what it all takes over at Kinos. Did I say that right? Is it Kinos?
I think so. I think it is.
Okay, so
I've always pronounced it Quenos.
I always pronounce it Quenos too, but people beat me up because it's Sony EQ backwards. So I'm like trying to pronounce it the right way, saying Sony EQ Quenos, Kinos, whatever.
Qville.
The Q place. Q. So anyway, they get back, and everybody's going to start out in Kinos. That's where the starting races for the Combine have come back to. So we are going to have an area that is completely crowded with all of these different races, and we're going to spread out from there. Now, as time goes on, the way I understand this, in the future, we're going to be spreading out and rebuilding these old towns like Halas and Nariak and all these other places that the places are, or the old world places. We're going to rebuild them back up, and maybe we will settle back down in there. So I think that's kind of what they're hinting at. What do you guys think now that I've rattled on so long?
I'm still back on the dragons being held down, because that's like, oh, you've been naughty, haven't you? Yes, you've been very naughty. You need to get your scaly bottom spanked, don't you? Yes, you do. Just
not held down that way. Oppressed.
You should specify.
Oppressed.
That's just.
See, there he goes again.
I know. Last time we did this Skype crash, we got to stop that.
I know. It's gonna blow up, you know. All right. Anyway, continue.
So that's all I had.
Oh, that was it. Just to rub your nipples.
When I was just, they're vestigial. They don't do anything. They just leave press on nipples. Yeah. Okay. Can you just go, Tobran, go.
Talk amongst yourselves. Go ahead.
Okay.
We've told you Tobran is like, oh my god, what did I sign up for over here?
I'm thinking, Anyway, back to the original question, talking about how the races might split off. Like, let's say they might introduce a rallying call. It's like, only a certain race goes off and does this, other races can come help, but it's mainly because they want that race to be that town, and that would expand into more towns. But then maybe because of that, the towns might split off and be like, I don't like you because you never gave me this, so we're going to go to war now. And that will eventually create different factions and different armies fighting other armies, and that can just create a whole new level to the AI and players, which I think would be really awesome.
Coin and Cleavage just said something really cool. They predict that the players travel north and discover the barbarians there, and together they build Halas, and then the barbarian races are unlocked.
Something I don't like, though, is having races deliberately held back so that you can't have them at the start.
You can't start on the beginning of the game?
You know they're going to be there, which is quite annoying. I really don't want that in the game.
Can you do a Kool-Aid Man impression, Trendane? We're getting that request.
Yes.
Do it.
Oh, you want me to actually?
Yes.
I can't break through a wall in here. I mean, I just finished fixing the toilet and the dishwasher. Oh, well, it's going to sound more like Randy Savage.
Okay.
Than the Kool-Aid Man, but when he comes bursting through the wall, like, oh yeah!
There you go. Perfect for those who are over 30. Remember that from the good old days. Yeah. Busting through a wall all the time. All right, I think this will probably be our last question. We've gone quite a long time tonight.
Yeah, we have.
All right, how do you think they're going to make crafting a profitable profession versus the way it has worked in other MMOs? For instance, in other MMOs, when you get the upper levels of crafting skill, the gear you make is not sellable due to drops being so much better.
Yeah, that I know this happened in Guild Wars. Like, they had the start of the game, and you would have this great tier item. It was called exotic. And then beyond that, they started bringing out this new tier of item, and then those exotics became redundant, and no one bought them, and crafting was just entirely useless. It was just a money sink. There was no use of having it anymore.
Right.
And I have a feeling that if they bring in a new system, that might have a big problem as well.
That might be one of the things that is sort of revolutionary about this game. As far as I know, I don't think they're going to use that same sort of grindy mentality that you're going to have to make 10,000 axe handles before you can actually make your first axe, you know?
Yeah.
And so if that happens, it'll be more fair, and I think it'll probably work better. What do you think, Trendane?
I was immediately started thinking about the South Park episode with Minecraft. You want to get your axe handle, you got to go and punch trees. It made me think, the actual question made me think of enchanting in WoW, which was always horrible. It used to be tailoring was the worst.
But when they brought in where you could enchant those scrolls and put them on the auction house, enchanting turned right around. Because before that, it was totally a waste. I mean, you could at least enchant Beatsmaster on a scroll and sell it. Do you remember?
Yes. And then the inks became very difficult to get a hold of if you didn't. Yeah. But what that made me think of is, like, let's say you're going out and you're trying to, level up your smithing or whatever. And as Talbot said, the next level of, the next tier of things is released, and all the things you're working on are useless. So all of the components that you're working with are just crap. Is there a way to then take the things that you've made, break them down, even if you have to instigate diminishing returns so that you don't get back, there's some wastage factor or something. So you only get 2 ingots back instead of 4 or whatever. And then you can somehow either sell those to get, you take a sword that used to take 4 ingots, you melt it down, you get 2 of them back, and you sell those 2 ingots to the guy that's standing there, to the blacksmith, and he'll give you 1 ingot of whatever.
Right.
So they don't become completely useless. There's a diminishing returns aspect, but it doesn't completely obliterate the work that you've done.
Exactly.
I think another problem with crafting in, I think, every MMO ever is that if you start crafting at level 10 and you're just making level 1 items, it's kind of useless.
It is, and I hope they're not going to do that. I mean, obviously they're not going to have levels and everything, but yeah, Swords just mentioned take it, make it, break it, and that was the dev diary from last week, or was it the week before? I forget. Anyway, where it's a lot like Minecraft, that you want to make wood for your axes. You're going to have to go out and kill some trees, cut them down, bring the wood back, put it into a lathe or whatever, and then also go out and dig up some ore, make some ingots, come back, bang them out, turn them into axe blades, and then you can put it the 2 together and make your stuff.
So are you going to have like flint napping?
That would be really cool, right? I mean, that's a really awesome skill that people still do to this day. But
and it would flow within the progression of things. If you start out, flint napping arrowheads or whatnot, or axe blades or whatever, and then eventually you learn, you do that and you chop down then enough wood to be able to make a better axe and a pickaxe and whatnot, and you'll be able to go mine.
Yeah, I believe that should be the way it works. So you progressively get better skills, and those items that you make are used to then make better things. It's the way it does in Minecraft. I mean, if you really want to dig far down, you really need to get at least an iron pickaxe. And to get the iron, you have to at least be able to make one out of wood. You make your wood pickaxe first, and so then you work your way down there, and you dig up enough iron, and you make your iron one. Because you can't even get diamond with a wood pickaxe; you just can't even get it out of the ground. So it's important that you can build up over time, and I'm hoping they'll do that same sort of system with this. All right, I think that's it.
All right.
I want to thank. I want to thank.
No, Seamus, I did not test SWTOR.
Oh,
no.
I
Sorry,
did.
Go ahead.
I did test SWTOR.
Oh wow.
SWTOR was terrible, but I do want to thank everybody for coming here tonight and hanging out with us. That was really awesome. We had a really good sized crowd tonight, and next week I believe Locke will be back. He'll be back from his surgery.
Yes, those lovely warts will be gone.
I think he was getting the plastic surgery with the.
I bet he was transplanting some of his beard to his eyebrows.
Yes, He wants to look like Henry Kissinger.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I really dated myself there. People don't know who the hell I'm talking about. All right, so thanks again, everybody, for coming tonight. Thank you, Tobran and Trendane, for being great guests and hosts.
Woo. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. And we will be back next week for another show. Stay tuned. And remember, if you are just checking out EverQuest Next for the first time and you're looking for a great community, there is EverQuest Nexus, EQ Nexus, www.eqnexus.com. And you can come over to the community over there and join in with the discussions all about EverQuest. It's a great website.
And if you're not already following Domo and Tobran on
Twitter,
whatever, pick something. If you're not following them, do so.
Yeah, because we do mention one time the shows are different every week. Unfortunately, we can't. It's like herding cats. Like some weeks we have people at this time, and some weeks we don't. So we have to keep moving it around. So you want to make sure you're following at least one of us to be able to find out when every one of the shows is coming on. And
spread the word.
Yeah,
tell people about us. Bring them in. It's like dealing crack. It's great.
The more you get, the more you want.
Be sure to wear your Depends next time for uncontrollable laughter brought on by Trendane's voice and nipple rubbing.
But nothing about the vaginal mouth. I mean, really? Okay, everybody's probably got kind of a mental block.
Yeah, I could block that out. That was sort of like traumatic for me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will try to be streaming some more. Feel Good just says, Domo, you should stream some more games on Twitch. I will try. I've been really, really, really busy lately. You can ask some people that know me. I am busting ass right now trying to get all this stuff done. Yeah. So I apologize. I have not been playing as many games or been doing many videos, but of course we don't really have much news about EverQuest Next yet. So hopefully we will get it soon. Trendane's YouTube channel is Trendane. Tobran's is Tobran... Earnwood.
Yeah.
EARNWOOD. There's his YouTube channel. So everyone go ahead and subscribe to them. Subscribe to Geekdomo and subscribe to Trendane.
Oh, it's a mission.
Yeah, you have to remember that your camera's facing you, so everything's
Did I do it backwards?
No, you did it fine.
All right. Well, good night, everybody. Thanks again for coming. This has been another Into the Portal in the can, as they say. Until next time, we will say...
Be careless.
Be careless and see ya! Good night.
Good night.